Hey guys, it's Tricky Nick here. It's been a really long time since I've discussed the Koopalings, so today, they're back in the spotlight. The Koopalings are a gang of 7 siblings who serve King Bowser. They appear as bosses, side characters, and even sometimes playable characters in some of the Mario spin-off games. But there's something I noticed about the Koopalings that just didn't sit right with me. For the past 30 years, the Koopalings have been a huge part of the Mario franchise, yet they've never starred in their own game. So, in today's video, I'm going to discuss the potential for a Koopalings game and some concepts of what it could look like. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know what you think of it in the comments. Anyways, let's begin. Now, the first thing we have to decide is which version of the Koopalings would be best for a game. Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World have multiple repeat bosses and outdated designs. That leaves the new Super Mario Bros. Games. Ultimately, I chose their new Super Mario Bros. U appearance for a few reasons. Each Koopaling has their own unique weapons and abilities to give each one variety. Also, their appearance is the modern version of the Koopalings, so they wouldn't need much adjustment. So, now that we have the version of the Koopalings that we're going to use, let's discuss what a Koopalings game could actually be. The story of this type of game really only has one way to go. The Koopalings' sole purpose in the Mario series is to conquer worlds and claim them as their own. This would pretty much be the main story and main concept of this game. Rather than playing for the good guy team, you would play as one Koopaling per world and conquer it by force. This type of story could be done in many different game formats, such as a 2D platformer, a 3D platformer, or even a tower defense game. I think we can eliminate 3D platformers from the mix though, as the Koopalings have never been in one, as they're built for 2D Mario games. Although a tower defense game sounds really cool, I don't think that it would really interest many people, so the most likely format for this game would probably be a 2D platformer. It would basically be the inverse of 2D Mario, where instead of saving worlds, we would be taking more and more places after each level. I know that many of you are thinking, isn't that too close to a 2D Mario game? And the answer is no, for one big reason, and that reason is our gang of Koopalings. Each Koopaling would have to conquer one world, and we would play as a new Koopaling after every world. Also, I think that after we go through all these worlds, it would be really cool to have a final world where we use all the Koopalings. In the final level of the game, we could maybe even use all 7 Koopalings at once in order to beat the stage. Or maybe they would all be put in their clown cart together and have to have a battle in the skies. Anyways, each Koopaling would have their own special abilities, and the game would go something like this. Larry would be the first Koopaling we play as, and he would showcase the basic abilities that each Koopaling has. This would include spinning in his shell, jumping, and using a magic wand. Spinning in a shell could be used for faster movement, or even to break brick blocks. Jumping would be for jumping, obviously, and the magic wand could be used to defeat enemies we face. This would be a perfect base for each Koopaling to build off of in the following worlds. It essentially supplies us with a tutorial for the moves we need to know for each Koopaling. In the second world, we would get to use Roy Koopa. Roy would only slightly expand upon Larry, as to not overwhelm the player too early on. On top of the basic abilities of each Koopaling, Roy would also be able to charge through walls of hard blocks or structures that would access areas that are otherwise inaccessible. He would also have his bullet blaster in order to shoot bullet bills at enemies. In exchange for all of his powerful attributes, he would have a less powerful jump. Next up is Wendy, our only female Koopaling. Instead of having magical blasts, Wendy would possess her iconic rings. These would act similar to the Super Ball from Super Mario Land, ricocheting off of any surface that it hits, killing enemies in the process. Wendy would also have her ice skates, allowing her to move faster on icy surfaces. Since Wendy is typically in water areas, I think giving her the ability to swim faster than normal would also be pretty fitting. These sets of abilities require her to be placed in an ice or water world though. These abilities are pretty specific, but placed in the right environment, and they could be extremely fun. Iggy Koopa is where the abilities start to get really interesting. Iggy not only has the power to walk on walls, but he can also summon a chain chomp and even magmarfs. Iggy would only be able to summon magmarfs when lava is present though, because these creatures only live in lava. When he does summon them though, he can have them attack anything in his way, and maybe even burn through some ice blocks. The ability to walk on walls wouldn't be infinite, because that would make platforming way too easy. For example, Iggy could begin to slide if he's walking on the wall for too long. I think that would be really balanced. His chain jump car would have to have a limit on its uses per level as well, as this car would just allow you to breeze through the level if you used it the entire time. While these new abilities might seem overwhelming, I think that it would be fun to have such a diverse moveset. Then we have Lemmy, and his abilities would both relate to his balls. Wait, no. His first ability could allow him to throw balls that he can use to jump off of. Lemmy could also summon his bomb balls to try to kill enemies or break structures. I know some might not like this idea, but I think that Lemmy could also be forced to roll on his ball. That would make platforming much harder, as he would only have to jump on balls that he has summoned. I think this would be a cool twist, but some people probably would not like this. Moving on to my favorite Koopaling, Morton, he possesses an expanded version of Roy's moveset. Along with all the abilities that Roy has, Morton would also have the ability to stun enemies when he ground pounds. Instead of a charge, Morton would also have his hammer to smash through hard surfaces and kill enemies. This means that Morton would best fit in a rocky or underground area so he could smash boulders with his hammer. Finally, we have Ludwig, the oldest of the Koopalings. Not only would he possess a flutter jump, but Ludwig would also be able to clone himself using his magical powers. This could allow Ludwig to confuse enemies and flutter right over them. So now that we have each character's ability established, who are we fighting exactly? Well, there are a few routes this could take here. One could be essentially fighting Mario and his friends. The motives for this are obvious, as Mario almost always defeats the Koopalings, and that probably annoys them. But what if the game wanted to go for something different? Well, the Koopalings could try to kill Bowser and Bowser Jr. and overthrow the crown. I mean, imagine if the Koopalings revolted against Bowser and took him down to claim his land for themselves. That would be a huge twist and a great story that no one would ever expect. So how likely is this Koopalings game to happen? Well, Nintendo really never has us play as the villains in their games, unless it's something like Mario Kart or Mario Party. So while it isn't impossible that we would see this game, it's highly unlikely. I personally think this would be a really fun new type of game. It would really spice up the 2D platformer genre, and we would finally be able to play as my boy Morton in something other than Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros. Anyways, that's my concept of what a Koopalings game would look like if one were to ever happen. While it's very unlikely, it would be a cool new franchise from Nintendo. Let me know what you guys thought of this concept in the comments below, because I thought I did a pretty good job here. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video and you want to see more Nintendo content, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.